Hello, welcome to Wednesday's show. I'm Mark Dennison. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's happening in Notts today. Firstly, a long-awaited report has set out the catalogue of failings by NHS leaders in the care of Nottingham triple killer Valdo Callicane. A 302-page report has set out how the schizophrenic killer's risk wasn't fully understood before he went on to kill two students and their school caretaker on our city streets. We'll look into that more in just a moment. We'll also be finding out why relationship breakdowns are one of the leading drivers for a rise in puppies being taken to a Notts dog shelter.
We're getting an awful lot more inquiries than we ever used to. I think certainly over the past sort of 4 months has really tipped to a high.
Later in the show, we'll be giving you some big Splendour news after this year's lineup has been revealed. The annual festival returns in July after having had a year off. We'll have the full breakdown of that lineup for you later on. So catching up with an undefeated boxer and music star. Amari Grant recently beat a fellow undefeated fighter in his own backyard and is also releasing his first reggae album on Friday. Lots to talk about when he joins us shortly. In sport, we'll hear what Notts County head coach Stuart Maynard made of the club's January transfer business.
It's down to us now as a management team that we pick the right team for the right game and the right squad. There'll be lads left outside the squad now, but from minute one I've said it all season, it's not the starting 11 that will bring us success.
All of that and plenty more coming up. But firstly, the families of the Nottingham attack victims say systemic change and a full public inquiry must follow the publication of a damning report into failings into the care of the killer Valdo Callicane. The families of Barnaby Webber, Grace Kumar and Ian Coates spoke after an independent review found the paranoid schizophrenic was able to skip mental health medication too easily and decisions weren't shared properly across those responsible for his care. Jack Sims has more.
Numerous failings, but one tragedy. An NHS report reveals how the danger of Valdo Callicane was not fully understood by Nottingham's health services. In June 2023, the paranoid schizophrenic went on a spree that would end the lives of 3 people. They are 19-year-old students Grace Kumar and Barnaby Webber, and 65-year-old school caretaker Ian Coates. He then went on to steal Ian Coates' van and try to kill 3 others in the city. In January last year, he admitted to manslaughter on the basis of diminished responsibility and was sentenced to an indefinite secure hospital order. Today, a long-awaited report was published by NHS England and investigated the treatment provided to Callicane by Nottinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust and other services. That was despite him being sectioned 4 times before his attack. The report adds, 9 months before the killings, Valdo Callicane had no contact with mental health services or GPs and evaded taking his prescribed medication due to a fear of needles. The independent report concludes that, while decisions at the time were thought to be appropriate, shared decision-making in Callicane's care was missing. Today, the families of his 3 victims condemned the Trust's failings and called for a statutory public inquiry.
This is a watershed moment. We demand a public inquiry with statutory powers. Powers to compel witnesses to appear to account for their failures.
Over the last 18 months, I've lost all my faith in Nottinghamshire Mental Health Trust, a trust designed to help the residents of Nottingham who trust that I should be relying on right now to help me, but I can't because they failed. They failed the people of Nottingham, where I'm from, where my dad was from.
In response to the report, Nottinghamshire Healthcare Trust's chief executive issued a statement offering condolences to the families of the victims and the injured. We are making clear progress with a trust-wide plan, which is already delivering key improvements in areas such as risk assessment and discharge processes. We are also improving the way we listen and engage with patients, families, colleagues and local partners. I know that this will never undo the catastrophic damage caused by these events, but we will do everything possible to prevent similar incidents happening again and remain totally committed to improving services for the communities we serve. For the families of Barnaby Webber, Grace O'Malley Kumar and Ian Coates, a report that was meant to fill in the gaps of Callakane's care seems to only offer more questions than definitive answers. Jack Sims, Fun Nuts TV.
Moving on now, and it's time for our first chat of the show and a look at what's next for a Nottingham charity founded in 2015. Mark Hammonds and his team have driven over 12,000 miles across 3 separate trips to Gambia. They acquire unwanted ambulances from the NHS, recondition them, then donate them to communities in the African countries. Mark's recently returned from his latest trip. He joins me in the studio now to tell us the story so far and to tell us what is next for the charity as well. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good.
Just tell us how Aid to Gambia started.
I went on holiday over there many years ago. We saw the poverty, started taking additional stuff in suitcases, joined up with another charity for a short while shipping containers, and in 2014 it was a case of, you know, they were folding a little bit. Do I carry on my own, start on my own with a few friends, or do I just go back as a tourist? Took the plunge, and it's gone from strength to strength.
Yeah. We'll talk about what you're doing next in just a minute, but the story with the ambulances is really interesting because these ambulances sort of come to their working life in this country, but they're still actually in pretty good shape and they need some work doing. And they've saved lives over there.
Absolutely, massively. As you know, we've done now 2 on the first one, 4 on the second one, 2 on this latest one. And in the very first one, which was, if you can remember, was the time we were on the last repatriation flight after the elections. And we'd left the vehicle I'd got at a place called Ferrato, and went back a year later, still in service, still serving the public, never had an ambulance. And one of the first patients was a young girl who'd walked down to the clinic to give birth, got into the delivery suite and promptly hemorrhaged. And she came forward, healthy baby, and we were talking about it. And the doctor, the head guy, turned around and said, without that ambulance, the only thing we would have been able to do is make her comfortable until she passed.
Gosh.
And that's the reality.
And that's just one person as well, isn't it?
That's one person that we know of.
I mean, can anyone estimate how many lives will have been saved? Because there must be countless now.
Countless. You know, even simple things like transferring pregnant women who are having difficulties with births from the smaller clinics into the bigger hospitals, getting them there on time. You know, stopping this donkey and cart culture where they're going over the ruts, which is causing internal problems and killing women anyway.
Yeah.
And it gives them a dignity.
It's amazing so far, and the word doesn't stop. So the next phase is something a little different, still over in Gambia, isn't it? Tell us about that.
It's going to be the biggest project that we've done. We've had dealings with a young lad who's severely disabled over there, and his story basically is he was born at Casamas, which is on the border of Senegal and Gambia. When Dad realised how severely disabled he was going to kill him because he would bring nothing to the family table. So Mum fled with his sister back into the Gambia, and he's been attending a respite centre that's sadly closed following the death of the guy that set it up. So there is no provision for them. So we've sourced buildings, and we're currently getting additional quotes, but £85,000 to build a disabled kids respite centre. Okay. That's the next plan.
So that's what you need by when, or is it just when you've got the money?
It's ongoing. It's when we've got the money. The builders over there tend to build to what money you've got available.
Okay.
So the plans have been drawn. The architect's been in. We've got the cheapest quote at the moment is 85. We're still getting other quotes in to see if we can get it down, but that'll give us a fully functioning respite centre for disabled kids with qualified staff, physiotherapy, and everything else.
Okay. So I guess it's a matter of all hands to the pump.
Absolutely.
Raise as much as you can, and
yeah, we'll be out to various fetes and galas throughout the year with our kids hook a duck.
Yeah.
We've got a 500 club, so we're looking for 500 people to donate a £5 a month. That in itself, when the building is up and running, that £2,500 bid extra with gift aid will pay all the wages, decent wages for local people, feed the kids, all the bills, everything.
Good luck. We'll keep tabs on how you're doing as well.
Yeah.
I'll have to get you back. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Find out more on A to Gambia social media on the website as well. Let's have a look at some news headlines now. 3 people have been arrested. That's after a stabbing at a Newark supermarket. Police were called to Morrison's on Kings Road just after 10:30 on Monday evening after paramedics reported the man with a stab wound. Nottinghamshire Police have since arrested 3 suspects at addresses in Newark, with 2 18-year-old men detained on suspicion of committing GBH with intent and a third man of the same age arrested for assisting an offender. And a man who raped a teenage boy has been jailed after damning DNA evidence led to his conviction. 30-year-old Stuart Carlyle was arrested after his victim reported a series of sexual assaults over a 5-month period, which he denied. But a trial last October, jury members were presented with compelling DNA evidence from 2 pairs of boxer shorts, which meant he was found guilty of 9 sexual assault offences, including 4 of rape. Carlisle, formerly of Newark, was jailed for 15 years. So we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and talk to a boxer, musician and now TV star in just a moment after this. Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's show with me, Mark Dennison. Hope you're doing all right. Here's what's happening in Notts today. Firstly, Nottingham City Hospital has become the site for a new Mpox vaccination centre. 12 new vaccine sites have been set up nationally to make it easier for people to get vaccinated against the infection, which the UK Health Security Agency says is a low risk nationally. One of these is Nottingham City Hospital, and people who are eligible for the jab include men who have sex with men, multiple partners, or attend sex on premises venues. People who work in these venues are also eligible. Nottingham City Council has said the decision to terminate contracts for 2 mental health care homes wasn't driven by budget cuts, but because of value for money. Hewenden Lodge in Mapley and the Crescent in Hudson Green are 2 mental health services expected to shut. That's after cuts to their funding were confirmed by the City Council. Between them, they offer support and accommodation for up to 52 people with mental health problems. They're run by Framework, which says their loss will create an enormous gap in the city. In a moment, we'll have your full sports roundup, but firstly, we're about to meet a sporting star who's a bit of a busy man. Amari Grant, a 7-time championship boxer who recently went to Birmingham and fought an undefeated champion in his hometown and came back victorious, but he doesn't stop there, because Amari, who goes by the name Praying Mantis, is also a musician and is due to release his first reggae album this coming Friday. He's also recently been involved with influencer KSI's new Misfits boxing TV show as well. A lot to talk about in a short space of time. We'll do that once we've had a listen to a bit of reggae.
You can see about behavior. It's like they ain't never noticed. All the work and the craft I put in, they ain't took for granted. All the times that they take and I give, now they hate my progress. So can I stand in the way of my gifts? Want me at my lowest, but I'm way too focused. It's like they never know.
Well, as you can see, the man himself is here. Hello, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. How did you enjoy watching yourself there? Have you got used to that yet?
I've still not got used to that.
Really?
I've still not got used to that. I like to perform, but I never see myself when I'm performing. So,
Right, yeah, sure. It was interesting just watching that little clip. I was counting up the number of locations I recognised in Nottinghamshire.
That was the point of the visual. So
Yeah.
make it really Nottingham based. Of course, the Arboretum. I wanted to get a lot of nature involved in the visuals.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll come back to the music in just a minute. Boxing firstly. Congratulations on your latest win.
Thank you.
How did that feel?
It was amazing to go to another place out of my hometown and come back still undefeated. I want to do a big shout out for Peaky Promotions, Paddy, Ginger from Chardin. It was one of the best shows I've ever been to, and they made me feel welcome. And even though I was under pressure because I'm in another town fighting an undefeated champion, yeah, I was treated very professionally, and the whole thing was run very smoothly.
Excellent.
And yeah, it was amazing to be a part of.
Is this the belt from your latest win?
This is the belt. This is, I'm not gonna lie, this is the best belt that I have received. Out of all the 7, this is the most
impressive
quality, the sturdiness of it, the actual gold is fantastic.
Is that real gold? Hang on a minute, you're not taking that with you. This is what I love about boxing though. When you win something, it's impressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
sometimes you see other sports and it's like a little trophy.
I always say to people, jewelry you can buy, but when you get something like this, it's something you earn.
Yeah.
So it means a lot more.
Congratulations again on that. Quick word on the KSI thing. What's all that about?
Well, out of the blue, there's a big artist called Afghan Dan. He's a grime MC. He's been known for years. Very, very popular. He contacted me because he's moved to Nottingham. And at first I said, oh, I wouldn't mind doing a competition with you. I'll get into the ring with you. But he said, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather you be in my corner. I'd rather you be like my coach.
Right.
So yeah, at last minute, and then we basically went to Manchester, met all these stars, met KSI, met a lot of musicians and stuff.
Brilliant.
And yeah, I got to get in the corner for him and keep him safe.
Yeah.
It was very controversial. We had an injury in his match, but I think I taught him enough to keep him safe and for him to enjoy the process.
Yeah. And great for you, good experience, but
Yeah, fantastic.
in terms of raising your profile as well?
Yeah, definitely. But like I said to him, the main thing was to make sure that he was safe, because boxing isn't a game. It is a very serious sport.
Absolutely.
At all levels. And despite its popularity and despite how it would have helped me clout-wise, I'm really, really passionate about helping people and making sure they're safe, because boxing is something you can't just go into.
What about music? How long has that been brewing? Have you always been doing a bit of music and now it's time to launch?
My first ever recording was 5 years old. My dad was drumming and I was rapping. I've been doing music from a very young age. First time I went to a recording studio I was 11.
Right.
I was part of a youth inclusion project in St. Anne's, and they gave us the chance to work with studio engineers. And yeah, so from then I've been doing tracks, and it's just been a part of my life.
Brilliant.
And I've gone through loads of different genres, but I think reggae is something that resonates with me the most, because it's a cultural thing. Coming from a Jamaican household, listening to reggae, listening to soul music, growing up. So it's just something inside.
You can't not smile with reggae. That's what I find. Do you know what I mean? It
Positive
lifts
vibes,
you.
yeah.
It lifts you. I was looking as well. You've had this is probably out of date now. This will be even more. 1.7 million views on Instagram of the video of your new track, and a lot of those views in Brazil.
That's right. That's correct.
Why? You're big in Brazil.
I had no clue that reggae was so big in Brazil. But
You're big in Brazil.
Yeah, now I am. It's surprising, because a lot of people have said that they liked my singing.
Yeah.
I never really pursued it because I didn't think there was a crowd for it. But just goes to show the wonders of the internet. They saw it on Instagram, and I just got loads and loads of DJs, promoters saying they want me to come over, and that's why I did the album. I thought I might as well do more tracks, and put them together. It actually is out now, so the single was
It's already out,
but it's been out the last 3 days.
It's out in Nottinghamshire and Brazil and everywhere.
Through the Looking Glass, it's been 20,000 streams already in about 3 days.
Wow. Well, listen. Real pleasure having you in today. Thank you. And good luck with boxing, music and everything you do.
I appreciate it.
Time for your sport now. We'll start with Notts County after a busy transfer window for the club. Plenty of ins and outs at Meadow Lane. That includes winger Will Jarvis from Hull, forward Charlie Whittaker from Everton's under-21s, and Zach Johnson from Sunderland. That was before they brought in Guinean forward May Traore on deadline day. There were some high-profile outgoings too, with Dan Crowley joining MK Dons, striker Kedwin Scott going back to his former club Carlisle. Here's what the head coach Stuart Maynard made of the window.
I think if you look at the bench now, we can make different changes within games to change it for our momentum, or defensively where we can see a game out, which we have had to do in the last couple of games. And I think the lads have taken the detail and the information on really well, the whole squad. So yeah, look, it's an exciting time for us now to make sure that it's down to us now as a management team that we pick the right team for the right game and the right squad. There'll be lads left outside the squad now, but from minute one I've said it all season, it's not the starting 11 that will bring us success, it's the whole squad.
Into League One, Mansfield Town also made some movements on deadline day, bringing in forward Caden Vickers from Brighton and experienced striker Jordan Rhodes from Blackpool. They're on loan until the end of the season. They're being brought into the club at a time when they're in a bit of a slump in form, losing all of their last 5, including the most recent 3 matches against sides in the relegation zone. Speaking after the 2 new acquisitions, Nigel Clough said they're hopefully going to both bring goals.
That hopefully will nick us a goal or two, an important goal or two in the next 3 months. So very, very pleased to get Jordan on board. We've been close to him, getting him a couple of times, I think. And young Caelan had moved from Reading a year ago, but played in the first half of the season. So he's got experience at this level, although he's only 20 years old. And he's had a good year, I think, at Brighton, learning, playing with the 21s, and felt it was ready to get back out and play league football again. So he's a little bit different.
And in women's football, Forest women defender Nat Johnson says the Reds are in a good position in the Women's National League after coming away from Halifax with a 2-0 win last week. That lifts them back to the top of the table and continues their unbeaten campaign in the division. They're in action this weekend against the Liverpool Feds. But after the Halifax win, Johnson, who got an assist in the match as well, said the side need to keep doing what they're doing well and talk through her vital cross.
I think we just, like we say a lot, keep consistent, so consistent in training, our attitude, our application. I think we've had some great additions this week to the squad, so it's going to take everybody. So we're going to use the whole squad, keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully it'll pay off. We'd like to put a few more in the back of the net, but at the end of the day, 2 good goals and 3 points, so yeah, happy. We've been working a lot on sort of like hitting back post areas and making sure we're arriving, so I thought if I hit that area, I know someone's going to attack it, and that's what happened, so yeah, very happy with that.
And finally in cricket, Nottinghamshire's second 11 have found out their fixtures for the upcoming season. Led by former club captain Stephen Mullaney, the side claimed the championship title last summer, and their first game in the same competition will take place between June the 16th and 19th against Kent. Further championship contests against Middlesex, Durham, Glamorgan, Warwickshire and Yorkshire have also been arranged, and in total 23 fixtures have been scheduled for the side across all formats this season. Here's a view or photo of the day now, a great shot of a fisher person over at Trent Bridge. Talking of cricket, Trent Bridge, nice. With the sun just coming through the mist there, taken by Mikenda Louise on Instagram. Weather forecast now. Tonight we'll see temperatures down to -1 as we get into tonight. Tomorrow some sunny spells in the afternoon. Highs of 7, lows of 2. Finally Friday will be similar actually, some sunny spells, highs of 6 and lows of 1. Another short break on the way. We'll be back in just a moment. Why relationships are causing the rise in the number of dogs being taken into a Knots rescue. That's on the way. Hello, welcome back to Knots Today with me, Mark Dennison. Thank you for joining us. Here are some more news headlines for your Wednesday. Firstly, shoppers regularly visiting high streets in Broxtowe could be rewarded for their loyalty with car parking offers. Broxtowe Borough Council is exploring ways to improve footfall in its town centres after year-on-year figures show tens of thousands fewer people visit Beeston, Kimberley, Stapleford and Eastwood to shop. The now independent-led council thinks online shopping has contributed to this reduction, and councillors have put forward ideas like loyalty rewards for people who regularly visit or spend a lot in shops. And as for Rushcliffe Borough Council, well, they're increasing tax bills from April, but they say their tax precepts remain the lowest in Nottinghamshire. A Band D property faces an increase of 2.46% for 12 months from April, which works out at about £3.89 more per year. The Conservative-run authority says the rise comes alongside national investments into the borough, which means the council is currently debt free and says its overall tax bills are among the lowest 25% in the country. So for your What's On guide now, a quick look at some things to do this evening if you want to get out and about. Firstly, at the Slug and Lettuce on Long Row. If you're single and ready to mingle, you can head over there for a night of speed dating. This one is for those people aged between 50 and 65. Well, I'm married as well, so, and it gets started at 7:30. Tickets are still on sale at £11. We'll move on quickly. A small price to pay for love, of course, because there's no price you can put on anything like that. I'm backtracking too much now. If you're a bookworm, look no further, as there's going to be a relaxed meet and greet with author Lucy Rose over at Waterstones. Tickets are a £5. Or if you're looking for something a little bit more colourful, Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat has its first performance at the Theatre Royal. Start of a long run at the theatre until next week. That one gets going at 7:30. Enjoy your evening, whatever you're doing. I've got some smooth talking to do later. Now, when you think about the NHS and those that work in it, automatically your thoughts usually go to the healthcare heroes, doctors, nurses, and hospitals as well, like the QMC City and Kings Mill. But one organisation based right here in Notts quite often goes under the radar a little bit, but it does play a vital role in keeping the NHS ticking along day in, day out, and that's NHS Supply Chain. Its HQ is in Nottingham and a warehouse just over the border in Alfreton, supplying vital equipment to every healthcare trust in the country, and it's just been given national recognition for the way it supports local staff members too. Joining me to tell us all about what they do is Chief Executive Andrew New. Hello Andrew, welcome along. Thank you for coming in. I've given a little bit of a picture there. Can you just explain what NHS Supply Chain does?
Yeah, of course. So NHS Supply Chain is part of the NHS family. We're a key enabling part of the whole of the system in England. We provide all of the things that go into care settings, so into hospitals, into community settings as well. And everything that is from big MRI scanners all the way through implantable devices, consumable things, medical things, but also everything from tea bags and custard creams, consolidated off-site and then delivered to a hospital ready for clinicians to use with their patients.
Wow. Fair to say then, without you and your colleagues, the NHS wouldn't sort of function as it is. I mean, that's true, isn't it?
Oh, it's a team activity. You know, we've all got our responsibilities. We know what ours are. We've got to provide the right product in the right place at the right time that's affordable, high quality, sustainable, managing all those procurement-y, supply chain-y type things, but fundamentally giving the guys who do the work on the shop floor the skills, the capabilities they need to look after patients in the interest of all of us. Congratulations on the award. How does it feel, firstly? Was it a big surprise, or was it one of these that you were tipped off about, or was it completely out of the blue? Not tipped off about, but it's something we're committed to. I mean, we're lucky as an organisation that I've got 1,200 or so brilliant colleagues with all a variety of different needs and skills that they need to develop into the future. And we recognise that by investing in our colleagues, giving them the opportunity to grow in their roles, they'll be able to fulfil a greater capability for the NHS in the future. That's what it's all about. Yeah. So we've been investing in this for a while. I'm delighted we've now got over 100 colleagues undertaking kind of work and learn at the same time activity through a variety of different apprenticeship schemes. And that's just a fantastic commitment we can make to our staff. What was the award actually for? We're part of an organisation called the 5% Club. So the 5% Club look for people to invest in their people, and we've achieved the highest standard of that with a gold award, recognising our commitment to the ongoing development of our staff throughout their careers. Right. 5% Club, not the 1% Club. Not the 1% Club. That's a TV different show. Thing. Completely different. What will the award do for you? Well, for the organisation and the staff, do you think? I think so. It's two sides to this. One is this is just recognition of the hard work that the staff put in. It's fine that we can provide them with some time and support and funding to do these things, but they've got to put the effort in themselves. I think part of this is a well done to them for their commitments they're making to their own personal development. It's also a really important part of attracting people to join the organisation. We're a growing team, and we recognise that our responsibilities to the NHS will continue to grow into the future. The role will become ever harder, and we need new, skilled, talented people. So we can say to those who join our organisation, we're committed to them, we're committed to their growth, committed to giving them opportunities, and therefore we should be more attractive as an employer and bring some great people into the Nottingham area.
I was reading, as well as all of this we've been talking about and the award and all, you've just launched your graduate programme, is that right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, so 18 months ago or so, we brought our first graduates into the organisation. We've had 3 fantastic colleagues who have come in and done some trailblazing activity, working out how that will work, how it will feel. It's really important that we could kind of test it before we went really hard. This year we've brought 28 graduates into the organisation. The early careers team have done a fantastic job again in finding some amazing colleagues. I spent Friday morning with them last week talking about some of their experience in the first 6 months. They gave some great examples to me about how they've developed not just their technical skills, but also their practical skills and their social skills. It's really important they become rounded members of our team, and they're really challenging us. You know, their aspirations for the future are incredible. The things they want to talk about in terms of sustainability are different than the things that we've talked about before. The things they want to talk about simplifying the organisation are different. Technology is different. You know, the things they know about AI, I mean, I'd love if I could learn 1% of the things that they already know. And they're just at the start of their careers. So we've committed to bringing those colleagues in. They're now working there through their placements and getting their professional development. And we're in the process now of bringing another 23 or 24 into the organisation as of September. We need to ensure that we bring talent in at all levels of the organisation, bring people in with masses of potential and brilliant behaviours, and then support them with the technical skills, because they're the ones who will be replacing me and my team in the years to come.
Very interesting. Thank you for coming in, Andrew, and well done once again on the award.
Oh, thank you very much.
We're going to move on now, and they say a dog's forever, not just for Christmas, of course, and how about for Valentine's Day instead? Well, maybe not, at least according to staff at Jerry Green Dog Rescue in Blidworth. That's because they're rehoming more dogs than ever. And they've also found that there's one particular reason why that's on the rise. Many of the pups that have found themselves in need of a new home this winter are there because their former owners have split up. So this week, Lucy Marshall went down to find out more.
Meet Holly and Hamish. What's not to love? But these 2 lively lurchers are rescues, and they're now looking for their forever homes. When wondering what might force someone to give up their pup, financial pressures, time and energy commitments might spring to mind. Or perhaps the dog itself is difficult to train and has behavioural problems. But here at Jerry Green Dog Rescue in Blidworth, staff have noticed a new trend. Deputy Centre Manager Beth Stukins has seen a recent spike in dogs being surrendered due to their owners breaking up.
We're getting an awful lot more inquiries than we ever used to. When it's a relationship breakdown, generally it's that one of the people who are the main carer of that dog, they're having to move out of their house with that dog, but the price of houses means that people can't be picky, and we're seeing an increase of people that are threatened with either being homeless with their dog or having to face the difficulty of rehoming their dog. Also, you're going from a 2-person household that maybe have split shifts or they're home a lot more into a single occupancy who are having to work longer hours. A dog just can't be left for that length of time on their own.
Pet rescue centres in the UK are currently facing a welfare crisis. Charity RSPCA reports a 51% increase in the number of abandoned animals in England and Wales last year. And although breakups are unplanned and rehoming is a last resort, dog welfare assistant Chelsea Close is urging people to thoroughly think things through before buying a new buddy.
I would probably say first, look into kind of what dog it is that you're wanting. Obviously, different breeds have different traits. Definitely contacting a rescue for advice as well. Somebody considering getting a puppy needs to obviously have the time for the puppy. When somebody calls to rehome their dog, we do always obviously put the safety of the dog first, but if it's possible, we do try and help the dog to stay in that home.
Their comments come just over a week before February the 14th. And with Love Day fast approaching, staff here want you to remember that a dog is forever, not just for Valentine's Day. So maybe think twice before buying your partner that new puppy. Lucy Marshall for Notts TV.
Let's have some more news headlines now. And firstly, police have made 3 more arrests as they investigate the murder of a Nottingham taxi driver more than 30 years ago. Estem Ghafour, better known to his friends as Shami, was shot dead in November 1994 before being found tied to his steering wheel in Lamley. Police relaunched the investigation on the anniversary of his death last November and have made 6 arrests as they investigated the circumstances of his death. Today they confirmed 3 men aged 58, 57 and 55 were arrested this morning on suspicion of murder. And a crackdown on retail crime in Nottingham has led to more shoplifters going to prison. More than 300 shoplifting arrests were made in the city last year, and officers have been working to put offenders before court. That includes 25-year-old William Chapman of Sneinton Boulevard, who stole a pair of trainers from TK Maxx on Milton Street, and a Star Wars Lego set from John Lewis and clothing from Casa Marina. He was jailed for 3 months in Nottingham Magistrates Court. One final break of the show coming up. Don't go anywhere, because big Splendour news coming up, and on the theme of tourism, some big awards being handed out soon as well. Details next. Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's show. I'm Mark Dennison. Hope you are doing okay. Here's what's happening in Notts today. Firstly, Nottingham City Council will begin using ANPR enforcement cameras at 2 locations. The automatic number plate recognition cameras will be used at Shakespeare Street, that is junction with Goldsmith Street, and on Victoria Embankment from the point in line with the suspension bridge. It's part of a plan to make both areas safer and follows a public consultation which found 3/4 of people were in favour of the enforcement. People found breaking road laws or moving traffic offences like using a phone will be fined £70. And the owner of a solar farm at Gedling Country Park wants to keep the panels in place for an extra 15 years. Around 1,700 homes are powered using electricity generated from the farm's 23,000 panels, which are managed by Anesco Ad. They've been there for several years. Now the company wants to extend its operation at Gedling Country Park for another 15 years. It'll take it from 25 years to 4 decades on the former Gedling colliery land. The Borough Council will review the plans at a later date. In a moment, we've got the Splendour lineup for you, but firstly, something nice and light-hearted. That's a police teddy bear and story time aimed at helping Nottinghamshire Police build trust with nursery children. Story time with Bobby Bear is a session led by local PCSO Sue Rutter. She's been heading to nurseries and schools in the city reading stories with her little stuffed sidekick. Have a little look at this video shared by The Force.
My name's PCSO Sue Rutter. I work in the city centre, Police Community Support Officer. Today I'm at a local nursery and we're doing story time and singing with Bobby Bear. The thinking behind coming to nursery schools is because community policing, we should be going out within the community, and our community starts at the very little people, and that's why I like to come and bring Bobby. We do some stories, we do some singing, and the children really look forward to seeing Bobby every week. Bobby just gets an absolutely amazing reaction. I don't think they really want to see me, I think they want to see Bobby. So we start by waking Bobby up, bring Bobby out of the bag, and they're like, oh, Bobby's here, very, very excited. And then they'll listen to the story and Bobby will help with the story as well. And then we'll finish by doing some singing, but the children absolutely love Bobby. And they're really sad when Bobby has to go as well. But then I would say, well, coming back next week, Bobby has just been an absolute asset. I would say that Bobby's my partner, so we're always going out and about.
Now, something we've been promising through the show, that is the Splendour announcement you've been waiting for. That's the drum roll. Jake Bugg, Clifton-born, of course, returning to Woollerton Hall in July to headline the event alongside Kaiser Chiefs, Block Party and Travis. Sophie Ellis-Bextor also on the bill, as is local actor Vicky McClure, who's bringing both her Dementia Choir and her Day Fever projects to the iconic Deer Park. Tickets for the event, which runs on July the 19th and 20th, are on sale. The full lineup's available on our website, that's nottstv.com. We'll have more reaction to the announcement online and on the show later this week as well. Now, though, it's time to pivot from one event that'll boost tourism in our city and county to an awards ceremony celebrating countless other venues and groups which do just that. That is the Nottinghamshire Tourism Awards. On offer this year, things like Experience, Pub and Hotel of the Year and Unsung Hero too. But this year's event is slightly different, as it's also being held at the same time and in the same place as the same awards for our neighbours in Derbyshire. Now, to tell us more is Megan Powell-Vriesvik, CEO of Marketing Nottingham and Nottinghamshire. Hello, welcome back.
Hi Mark, thanks for having me again.
Absolute pleasure. What's this all about? Derbyshire joining in on the action then?
I know. It's exciting, isn't it? So, so you might know that we've run the Tourism Awards for quite a few years, but we stopped during COVID.
Yep.
And since I took on my new role as CEO this year, I thought actually it'd be a great thing to bring it back. And now with EMCA bringing us all together under one region, Joe Dilley from Derbyshire and I thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to do a joint celebration? So the awards are going to be bigger, better and brighter.
Ooh. Tell us about some of the categories as well. Just pick out 2 or 3 and maybe some of the kind of more unusual ones, if you like.
Yeah, so our judges have actually just finished judging.
Oh, right.
So I'll tell you a bit about the judging process because that's quite exciting. So we have announced visits. That's when we tell the organisations that we're coming to see them.
Yeah.
So, for example,
and everyone polishes the
the brass. Yeah, absolutely,
everything, yeah.
absolutely. So we've just done things like our campsites. They're not fully open, so we let them know we're coming, and we go on a big tour of all of the campsites that have applied. And then we also have our secret shoppers. So we've sent out our great friends from across the city and county into things like hotels and restaurants, bars and clubs to go and experience what it's really like. So the day-to-day living and working, and only at the end do they announce that they were a judge. So it's really exciting for the businesses.
Yeah.
But we've got everything from our team awards, which celebrates those unsung heroes, all the way through to, as I said, hotels, restaurants, and also things like our country parks.
Very interesting you're doing campsites as well, because everyone's talking about, well, staycations for all kinds of reasons, getting close to nature, saving money. But very interesting kind of bringing that into the because that's part of the mix, isn't it, really?
It is. I mean, I think people don't realise how broad tourism is. I mean, we contribute about 10% of our region's GVA. So last year we hit 2.36 billion as our contribution from the tourist economy just in Nottinghamshire. So it's huge. It employs so many people, and it's everything from our locations to stay, our places to eat, our culture and heritage to go and participate in, and also like performances, so the theatre and the cinemas and the pubs and clubs.
Yeah. How important is it to venues, places, campsites, to, I suppose, not just win an award, but to be nominated is quite a coup in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think getting on the shortlist, amazing. If you've hit the shortlist, you're a winner already. But these awards are slightly different. They're not just local awards. So the winners of our awards then go on to another level of awards, which are our national awards run by Visit England.
Right.
So they get the opportunity to be a national winner, which is just brilliant. And what that does for them and for our region is just takes us another step higher. So we get put on the global stage then again and again.
And you've already touched on some of the figures. I just wonder where we are at the moment. I remember last time you came in, we talked about this as well. How are things? Because we're living in still tough economic times, of course. How is our area doing, particularly in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question. We've just had a recent report out from what we call our STEAM and our STR data. So we compare ourselves to other regions, and you probably know that we're a core city, but we're the smallest core city. And in fact, we're punching well above our weight. So other cities and regions have seen a slight decline over the last year. We've seen an increase. So we're doing really, really well.
When are the awards happening?
Now you've got me. So, if I'm
Quite
wrong,
soon.
if I'm wrong, team, I'm so sorry. They are happening in March,
Yeah.
and I think it's on the 20th of March.
Okay, we're going to Google that in just a minute. Good luck to everyone nominated. Thank you for coming in, and well done to the judges, by the way. What a job they've done.
I'll put you on the list for next time.
Oh, you took the hint. Thanks. Thank you very much indeed, Megan. It is Wednesday. That means a new episode of Team Talk. It's a big one this week. Lots to digest for Forest, Notts and the Stags, including that 7-0 thrashing of Brighton by the Reds. Are we still talking about that? Yes, we are. And a continued rough patch for the Stags and another win for Notts County as well. This week, Mark Shardlow and Charlie McPartland are joined by former Reds player and manager Paul Hart to talk about that and lots more. Let's have a look.
Thought of a 3 point. Maybe if I'd been in the vicinity, like, and I heard him, maybe you like jumped in when it was like 2 or 3-0. But listen, well, great advertising, innit? I kept telling you, and you wouldn't listen at first. If you play to Chris Wood's strengths, right? People, the fans were having a go at him when Steve Cooper was here. I said, if you play to his strengths, he will get you goals. And I was right.
The way they play. On the counter with pace, it's very exciting. But I must say I've been very impressed with the 2 centre backs.
Nigel's staff, you need your staff then to help you. You know, that's what your assistant manager's for, and you know, to drag you out and get through it, and they'll get through it. Yeah. And the players have to give the manager a bit back, and they have to pull each other through it collectively.
And were you ever a manager who'd bring him in on a Sunday if you'd had a bad day on a Saturday? Yeah, but I'll give him to my staff. I say, you get in and do it. No. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think I have.
I can't remember a time when we brought them in on a Sunday because,
I think. Look, I wouldn't dream of saying to Nigel what to do. He's a very accomplished manager, and you know, he's entitled to be disappointed at times, and like a proper manager, you know, he's shown his disappointment. I don't think there's anything wrong in that.
We love you, Hearty, we do. You can watch Team Talk tonight at 8, and then, of course, it'll be on demand as well. NottsTV.com and our official YouTube channel as well. Check it out. Another look at your photo of the day now. A mysterious shot. See what I did there? Of a fisher person over at Trent Bridge with the sun just kind of peeking out. Anyway, enough of the talking, just soak it in. Taken by Mikenda Louise on Instagram. Keep your photos coming on our socials. Weather-wise, tonight temperatures down to -1 as we get into tonight. Tomorrow, some sunny spells in the early afternoon, highs of 7 and lows of 2. And then on Friday, similar really, some sunny spells, highs of 6 degrees and lows of +1. That'll just about do it. Thank you to all of our brilliant guests. Thank you to the team behind the scenes here as well. Thank you everyone. And thank you Emma Caldwell. And she hasn't done anything yet, but she will tomorrow, 5:30. Bye-bye.